expecting the market to rotate back to the downside in a bearish manner, something like so. And then ultimately, once we get down to this low, we should actually look for a bullish reversal, okay? Now, it can come in a couple different variations. The first one could be some sort of variation which we pull back like so, and then look to go all the way back up to the prior high, okay? Now, with that also being said, because at that particular point, the momentum is clearly pretty bearish as it came all the way through the range, what oftentimes does happen as well is that we'll get our overall first target, and then the market will basically roll back over, okay? Now, in this roll back over, it's not to be assumed that this is actually bearish. It's actually a retest, giving a lot of traders another opportunity to just buy this asset yet again. So once we do retest and roll over, we simply now need to just look for a twin variation to get back into this trade, as we're looking to get to at least the top of that magenta line. And ultimately, the big case scenario would be to go all the way back up to retest the rotational high at 7,600, okay? So just be aware that there are a couple different variations to play for today. I would say highlighting the two green scenarios. And if you are wanting to be bearish today, it is a little less percentages as far as being accurate and correct. But one would assume, based on where we are right now, let me kind of zoom in on this structure right here. We have almost a GNR pattern. If we would have had a GNR pattern, it would have been something like this. Pushed up, rolled back down, and pushed over. So, depending on how you're looking at this, which high you're using, let me grab this, and which high you're either using this pivot right here, or you're using this high pivot right here. I kind of like the top one a bit better, which is why I'm a little less assuming that this is actually a reversal. But for right now, just know that that's the clear case. So ultimately what you're trying to do now, a lot of people that are bearish actually got in underneath this red candle more than likely, okay? So just be aware that the way that they're looking at the overall move is going to be subjectively, like so, where we come all the way back down through this low. And then their stop loss is more than likely going to be the inverse of this whole move. So we could say that the stop loss is relatively close to here, okay? So if it does break above this prior high right here at 7,700, that will negate a lot of people's early attempts to short this thing. So we do need to manage that accordingly. However, if we just clearly break down and hit our first target, then we would assume down here, we would assume that the market is well on its way to rotate now through that range and go back down to this low, okay? So don't have too much FOMO for today. Make sure you're trading the best way possible. And for me, that's looking for the dip buy down here until we break above this rotational high, okay? So again, everyone, thanks for watching. See you on the next candle.